Well, it's been a while, hasn't it, since we've done one of these, a video diary of the darts, and it's going to be in Las Vegas, the 50th year anniversary of the World Masters, the World Open, the cricket, and the World Championship qualifiers, trying to get a place in Lakeside. I'm heading over with Jodie to Las Vegas for the full week. We're playing in all the events, hoping for a bit of success. Now, despite the heat wave we've been having in the UK, you think that Jodie would be happy to see a little bit of aircon. Nope, she wrapped herself up in 3 blankets on the plane all the way over to Las Vegas, which awesome to have landed. Now, there's nothing really here on day one. It literally was just land and go to bed. But on day two, the Monday, it was a free day. We had a complete day to ourselves. So as I have been doing, it was time in the gym before going out and exploring. We got ourselves a pass so we could go up and down on the monorail and cover the entire strip. Now, seeing the World Series of Poker was quite cool. That was something I didn't know was on in town. And then you just go and see lots of shows and events and play some games, have a go on the machines, which wasn't quite working out for me. Hopefully that'll work out later on in the week for me. But there was plenty to do. I'm more into like the vintage style of things and the tables rather than sort of the modern like slot machines and fruit machines, which is brilliant when I found these. I remember playing this at Cleethorpes back in the early 90s, The Simpsons, the original Simpsons game as well. Superb, this one. And not only that, I found a couple of other vintagey arcade machines, which is right up my street. Managed to find another Mortal Kombat one. Now, this one is really cool because it's got like the side graphics on it as well. That Simpsons one, as you can imagine, a little bit dated, didn't quite have the side graphics and everything with it, so awesome to see these. And then we found a vintage arcade where we got some quarters, put them in and pulled the handle. I like the whole experience of putting the coin in, pulling the handle, just like you see in the movies back in the day. So spent a bit of time playing this, and obviously Jodie getting excited every time it flashes and makes all the noises. But she really wanted to go out and see all the sights, and that's what we did for the rest of the day. We sort of went around the various hotels, getting poker chips to take back with like all the different venues on them, and just genuinely Jodie go around taking pictures of pretty much everything. So we covered some ground, we covered some miles. We was right up at the Stratosphere, all the way down to Mandalay Bay, and I had a look in the Titanic Museum, one of my favourite places, before wrapping the day off with a bit of a lovely steak, jagged potato, some cream corn. I love America for these types of things, but the sightseeing day was done, and then it's over to darts day with day two. So this was the group stage, and I'll break it down and run it through. You'll see here I won all 4 of my games, which meant I topped the group and qualified for the knockout stage of the World Masters. Now, going into this first game, I didn't quite know exactly what to expect. And then I opened with a 180, a 177 and a treble 20. I went 7 darts into the 9 in my first leg back after months and months away. So I was delighted with that. 15 darts are there to hold the throw. Then Callum hit back. This is the only sort of dodgy leg we had in the game, 23 darts. Other than that, you'll see it was a very tidy game. I hit 2 more 180s and I won the match with 117 checkout. Average for that game, 87.72, purely pulled down by that one leg here. If it wasn't for that leg, you look at it, you go 15 darts is 100 average, 16 darts is a 93, 15 darts is 100. So you get the vibe, it was probably more sort of mid 90s if this leg was like a standard sort of leg like the others. After that, I played Luke Ellie. This was my weakest performance of the group. It was a slow start in this one, which you'll see here. Slow start, 19 darts, lost in 21 darts. Quite a few like scores here where I'm not hitting hundreds. A couple of trebles, but like low scores. Got another maximum in there as well, but then picked it up at the back end of the game with a 15 and a 17, where I start to find those consistent sort of ton plus shots. This is kind of why I expected a little bit more from my opening game, to be honest with you. A slower start and then growing into it. Next game after that was a game against Christopher. This was my best performance of the group, an average of 98.56. Good solid performance all the way through. And you'll see here again, now starting to find those consistent shots. Another 180, which was a real feature of my darts this past week. In fact, I'm going to give you a spoiler. During the World Masters, I hit the most 180s of any. I hit 15 180s, which was incredible. And this one as well, against I'm sorry if I've said that completely wrong. Player was playing really, really well in the group stages, needed to win this game in order to get through, and it was a really good battle. I mean, look at this 11 darter here from him, second leg, really good. I've hit 140, ton 140, didn't even get a shot. Another 180 there for me there, 15 darter in reply, 16 darter with another 180, and then there's the dodgy leg. A good leg coming down, took a little bit of time to get out, 22, but still an average of 90.53 despite that 22 dart leg. There were no sitting around after the darts though, because Jodie wanted to go off and do a bit more sightseeing, so we got an Uber down to the strip, and this was a common theme every day. We did the darts, then we went out for the afternoon or evening, depending on what it was, other than one day, but we'll get to that in a moment. Jodie loves the sightseeing, so we was going around all the casinos, picking up a chip from each one of them, going around as well, taking pictures of various different things. All I wanted to do was have another steak, to be honest with you, because that steak was amazing. And I've seen Vegas a few times before now. Obviously went there for WrestleMania a couple of years ago, went there for WrestleMania just 7 weeks ago. And when I left there, I didn't think I'd be going back to Vegas just a couple of weeks later, but here we are, and we was having, it was a good time. It was a good time. But I was there for the darts, and the darts was very good. Day number 3, Darren Johnson, first game in the knockout stages of the World Masters. Good start, 17 darter for me. Darren Johnson hitting back with a 15 and a 14. Now, Darren Johnson's someone I've known for a long time. We was both on the professional tour around 2011 onwards for quite some time, so I knew he was a very good player. And look at this, 15, 15, 15. Remember, a 15 darter, guys, is 100.20, and we're just trading 15 darters here. So real high quality game. 17 darter and a 16 there for me to get the win. Overall average 94.76. Now, at this point, this is when I knew that things were going well, because they went okay on the first day. They went well in the group stage. I've won the group stage. I was feeling good. It was looking good. The preparation was good. I love the afternoon starts. I keep saying that, but I do really like the afternoon starts. I had my own practice board in the room, so it allowed me to prepare properly. I was on the 4th floor, so I could go back to the room in between games and just be on my own board. It was superb. Like, my preparation for these was bang on. So looking ahead, I thought this could be on. I could be on for something quite good here. And Moreno Blom just lost the round before to Vandenberg, Lock Vandenberg. And I thought, well, this could be another good opportunity here. And I started well, 16 data. He hits back with 14. And again, I marked that game. He played very well in that game. I hit back with 14, back-to-back 180s. Remember, 180s was something I was very happy with as a feature of my tournament in this one, because I don't traditionally hit a lot of 180s. I hit 15 in the World Masters group stage and knockout stage combined. So very happy with that. Now, if you remember before I went, I spoke so much about how these sort of shots are so important. 89 finishes. Now, if you remember, if you watch the build up to this, I said my tournaments, my matches will be won and lost on combination finishes, and that's what I highlighted as being the key factor before a dart was thrown. 72, 89, 81, 85, 94s, low tons. That will be the difference between me winning and losing. I knew where it was going to be won and lost. We'll find out a bit later on just exactly how much, but you'll see. Lots of those sort of combination finishes. I probably should have pointed them out a little bit sooner, but we get the idea. Jim Widnemere, this one wasn't as good, but a couple of good legs in the end, but a slow start and a bad finish there, really giving me what was up to this point my lowest average of the tournament so far. That being said, this was the last 16 of the World Masters, so at this point I'm not too bothered. I've just won a game in the last 16 of the World Masters. There it is again. Look, 76 little combination finishes. They are the key to getting the results. Remember those little ones I pointed out earlier on as well. So the key to getting the wins is right there. Now, this game, quarter-final, I felt like I didn't put up much of a fight, but then when you look at the average of Sean Fisher here, 101, I'd had to have been at my best to have put up any sort of fight against that sort of performance. So, okay, sort of opening leg. He's gone out in 12, superb darts. He's then gone out in 17. That's probably an opening there, missed opportunity. Look what we're saying about those combinations. The key. These sort of checkouts, the key. You've got to be taking those. You take that, it's 2-1. Again, look, sort of key combos. Managed to get a leg here in 17 darts, but that was back-to-back 180s in the last leg. Sean Fisher, far too strong. Much deserved win. He goes through to the semi-finals, and my hopes of getting the World Masters title was over. But a quarter-final run, not too shabby. I was very happy with that. Okay, you know the drill by now, don't you? We went for a steak, we went and seen some sights. You know how it goes. And I want to stop this video for a second. And I just want to talk about the Rio. Now, there was a lot of talk beforehand about this event moving to Las Vegas, moving to the Rio, traveling. And first of all, what an amazing hotel. Incredible hotel. The rooms were fantastic. I can't believe the rate we got these rooms for. I'm just going to show you around quickly to give you a little bit of an idea of how nice it was. Now, this is at the end of the holiday, so ignore the bits of mess and everything that are sort of knocking around. But giant rooms, lots of facilities, amazing massive bed, all air-conned, brilliant facilities throughout the hotel. Everybody who went to this tournament had nothing but positive things to say about the event and to say about where it was. Next year, guys, we know it's a 3-year deal. If you qualify for this event, you got to go. Incredible. You get the rewards card, so you get your discount on all your food and everything. The hotel was cheap as chips. Like, I've spent more in resort fees before staying in Las Vegas than I did for the entirety of this trip. So, can't recommend it high enough on that regards. Now, the next day was cricket. I'm not going to spend too long on this because I don't have much footage, because Jodie didn't really have a clue what was going on, so she decided to have the day by the pool. I started well, beat Matt Clark, good player, 4.86. I'm told that's good. In fact, I'm told most of these averages are good. Jeff Smith, 5.13. I'm told is incredible. Like, but I just don't know. I use cricket as a bit of a warm-up game, and that's what we tend to do here in the UK. We use it as a practice game. We don't ever have a cricket tournament. I don't think there's ever been a cricket tournament, to my knowledge, of any sort of relevancy here in the UK. So it literally is practice. Me and Kevin Painter play it as practice. I had a lot of messages from other professionals that use it as practice during this tournament. But quarterfinals, I'm happy with that. So 2 events, 2 quarterfinals so far. But I think I did well. World Open time. My concern now is I'm already sort of 3 days in. Am I going to be able to keep to the same standards? And I look on my board and I've got a couple of tough draws in there, most notably Scott Campbell, the Scottish captain, very good player, does well on the Super Series, does well on the Challenge Tour, he's played some Pro Tour events, so I knew that that was going to be a toughie. But first up, Taylor Nelson. Now, I don't know too much about Taylor, but everybody is a danger in these sort of events, especially when you don't know too much about them. And it started off pretty well, didn't it? Good performance there. 4-1 victory, average of 88. I'm happy with an 88 average, considering that I'm a few days in. You can just see here, sort of steady, consistent play throughout the entirety of that game. So happy with that. That led me to the game I thought was going to be the toughie, Scott Campbell. Now, Scott didn't produce, and he didn't produce what we know he can. 81.32 the average there for Scott. Started off all right with an 18 darter. The 13 darter gave me the lead here. Another, you see here, another 180 in there as well. And the other thing I was very happy with during my game with the switch downs, you'll see a lot of 134s. A little bit further up here, things like the 137. Scott hits back with a 15 darter. I thought, here we go, this is where he's going to kick into life. And it didn't quite happen really for Scott. So thanks, Scott. I was very happy with how you played in that one. Last leg, it comes down to it. I'm 3-2 up. I've got the darts. I feel that I have to win it here. If this goes 3-3, I'm losing. It's that simple. Kick off with a maximum. Scott takes a little bit of a pause and a delay. He knows the importance of this shot. Comes back with a 140. And then I'm just thinking, treble a throw from here and I'm okay. And that's what I got. Again, those switch downs you see, looking good on the treble 19. Came down, took it out first dart, 13 darter to win that one. Very happy with that win, and a nice average there. Once again over the 90 mark, 90.89. Anytime I break the 90, I'm delighted, because like I say, I just don't play darts. I just don't play enough darts, so I'm delighted with anything over that sort of percentage. Clint Clarkson, this is where we really started to pick it up now, an average of 98.30. We'll have a quick run through the detail here for you. 16 darter, 17 darter. You'll see some maximum shots here, 171. The 171 and the 177 don't go on top of the 15 maximums already hit in this one. But look at the amount of 140s here, 140, 140, 140. 140, 140, 140. Another good check out there, 64, those combination finishes. Clint's on 36 at this point. Just a slow start cost him there. Look at this, he hit a 14 darter, and he's on a double after 12. So he was coming on strong, so I had to get that game done and dusted, and I did. Got it all sorted there with a 14 darter, moves me through and wins the board. After winning the board, I played a young lad called Ben Townley. This is a guy to remember. Keep a note of that name. Good player. Now, whenever I play one of these young players, I love to try and get the victory early against them in their careers. And this was one for me that I was really up for. Started strong, 13 darter here. Look at the 140s again, just 140s, piling those in. 13-13, so we're averaging 115.62 at this point. 13 darters. Slow leg here, but stole it with a 152 finish, and at this point I thought the game was over. Ben's just missed 3 darts at tops. I've took out the 152. I think it's over, and it was. I ended up getting it done with a 16 darter in the last, an average of a 100.20. Now, coming into this tournament, I'm not lying, I didn't know what to expect, and then all of a sudden you're putting in a 98 average and following 100. Shows that the preparations and the practice and everything I did beforehand was working. And that's the main thing. Get those in. And that's for me, the key. The preparation, the practice. I need to be able to do that. A lot of people, even after this event, have asked me, are you going to Q school? Are you going to... No. Because the thing is, for this, I had to commit to 7 weeks worth of proper practice. I went to the gym. I was training properly. I was practicing with Kev. I was doing all these things to get it right. And that's the thing you got to remember. I can't just turn up and do it. I need to prepare properly. And I always say to you guys, and I'll continue to say it, I will not waste your time. I respect your time too much to give you a substandard version of myself. You are not going to waste your Saturday, your afternoon, watching me on Dark Connect and give you a version of me that isn't proper. And if I don't play well, it's because I've not played well. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is wasting your time saying, watch me do this, and then I'm not ready and I'm not right and I haven't tried properly. So if I can try properly, I will do more, but it's tough. It's tough time management. Chris Lim, who ended up going on to win the World Masters, good victory here, 4-1, started that game incredibly well. Incredibly well. This game was on the streaming board, so you can go back and watch that one. I broke him, first leg with 110 checkout. Remember how much I said they were key. And then an 82 checkout to break for a 12 darter. At this point, I thought, okay, we got it here, but okay, leg, finding a treble here and there, but the back end of the leg was sloppy. Got away with that one. Got away with that one. Didn't get away with it again. Ended up closing out in 20. So it got a little bit messy towards the end, but for me, I'm absolutely delighted at this point. I'm through to the quarterfinals of the World Open. Now, regardless of what happens from here, this is a good result. But I ended up getting through again. Worst game of the tournament so far for me. In fact, worst game of the whole experience so far, an average of 79. Really started to struggle here in this one. You can see just those big scores starting to dry up a little bit. The checkouts starting to dry up. And certainly then that last leg, look, it got very messy at the end. I was finding a treble a shot to sort of get me down, but very messy at the very end. Now, for me, I was getting very tired and hungry. So I went back to the room. Now, this is something I used to get wrong very often. When I'd play in events like the UK Open, I'd play well in the afternoon and get the evening session wrong. I decided with a 3-hour gap before the stage semis, what I was going to do was going to go prepare like it's a new day. I went back, I got changed back into my normal clothes again, out my darts clothes. We went and got some food before heading down to the stage events about 15 to 30 minutes before I was due to play. Now, this was so I could go back to the room and practice and prepare the way I wanted to and get that properly. And I was playing James Beaton in the semi-finals on the stage. Now, this game's available to watch. I'm getting the footage sent to me. I'll be loading it on the channel, so hit subscribe. James starting extremely well here, but I ended up stealing that leg before going 3-1 down. James with 18, 15, and 16. Now, if you haven't seen this game yet, guys, this is the moment you're about to have your mind blown, because I just went back to sort of peak Edgar for about 5 minutes, and it was an amazing feeling to be up there playing these sort of darts. At this point, I'm averaging 81, and then I end up, as you can see, we're an average of nearly 95. So, It was this point here I feel it turned around. So after I hit 140, 45, 45, I stopped for a moment. I went back to the table. I had a drink of my water. You'll see this if you watch the footage back. I go back to the table, have a drink of my water, and I go, it's now or it's over. That's what I tell myself at this point. And it happened to be now. Now, when you ask yourself for something and you deliver, it's always a nice feeling. Like, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you'll ask yourself for something, it doesn't happen, and then that's when the frustration kicks in. But I delivered on this occasion. 133 followed by a 138. That was a real good spark. A lot of people think the spark was the 138. It was the shot before, the 133. Then we was off. 140, 121, 134, 106 out, 12 data. Final leg, 140 ton, 140, 121 out, 12 data. We've just gone 15, 12, 12 with checkouts of 138, 106 and 121. James Beaton in the last legs kicked off 140, 180. It was an incredible game. I'm so happy with how that went. That's something that's going to live with me for quite some time. Checkouts, remember I said, they are the key. Combination finishes, they're the things that are going to win these matches. And I was delighted with that. Getting through to the final of the World Open after being away for so long. The amount of ranking points that gets, then you go, well, hang on. Lakeside could be on now, and I'm only one win away from a big title. Unfortunately, though, that did not come. It was a defeat 5-4 to Moreno Blom. Good game, but the averages really don't reflect, and we'll run through it and I'll show you how. So, first leg I've kicked off well. Possibly should have took that there. 6 starts from 1-2-1, didn't take it. The 180 saving Moreno in that leg. Next leg, remember, combination finishes. That's what's going to win your titles. Those shots. Forget the massive ones. It's not all about the 167s. They're nice. But these are your breadwinners. These are what win titles. Done it again. 94, 11 data. This is frustrating. I've just done an 11 data to break. I'm 2-1 up. And I go off 6 starts without a treble. He's gone off 177, 134, 140. Great reaction, 15 data. We are having a great game right now. Look at the averages for the legs. 100, 136, 100. All the winning legs looking good so far. So real good performance for both. 18 data, Moreno taking that one. Then a 15. So again, great game so far. I need to win the last 3 legs. I've kicked in again. 16 data. Good stuff. This is the leg where I think if I'd have won this better, I'd have won the match. I'll show you where I think I lost it. Here, the 90. So I've gone 140, 180, 91, left 90. Plenty of time on my side. I bust the 90. I bust the 90. Now, how I did that, I went 20, 18. I went back for the 20, and I ended up hitting the treble. And it just broke my concentration. Now, I was in a real focus zone. I was practicing so well over on the practice boards. I'd never moved from the practice boards. I was throwing for about an hour, just on. I was on it. I was focused. I was in the zone. I was mentally exactly where I needed to be. And this one moment broke that concentration. Now, fitness, the definition, how quick you can recover after an exercise. A lot of people will look at it that way. Mental strength isn't me doing all these things so well, it's how quickly you can recover from a setback. In the previous game, I recovered from a setback so well. In other matches, I recovered from setback so well. In this one, I didn't. And that's probably just the heightened of the moment. The fact I was a leg away from winning the title. I ended up stumbling over the leg in that to go to 4-all. And then 51-51. He's kicked off with, he's got a 180 in the first 6 starts. I'm miles behind him chasing. 100 here. I had a treble early. Disappointing not to get that. Still managed to have a shot at the 116, but Moreno taking it. 21 darts. 21 darts. You've given the guy 21 darts in a deciding leg, and that was it. That was it done. I was the runner-up of the World Open. So 120 ranking points on the order of merit. That's the only 120 points I've got because I don't play the system as such. So if I was to get to Lakeside, which could be a possibility, I'm going to need to go to some tournament and do very well, because looking at my calendar, I'm not sure if I can get to any events, but we'll have a little look at that potentially, because I'm about halfway there already after these couple of events. I'm not going to lie, the disappointment was strong, and it's a feeling I've protected myself for quite some time. So we ended up going and playing a bit of golf. Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps. There's always something to do. Bit of golf, bit of casino, bit of the strip, bit of sightseeing. There's always a show. There's always something to do. And we was out probably till about 4 o'clock in the morning, I would say. Now, I say protected myself from that. I talk about when I played Lakeside. And when I played Lakeside and when I did the tour before, I didn't really fully commit to it mentally. And the reason for that is because I never felt right. By not feeling right, I was kind of feeling I was always opening myself to disappointment. With this event, I committed fully to it, where I was like, I'm invested, I'm going for it. And then when you lose, you get that disappointment, you get that horrible feeling. It took me 2 hours to get over losing the World Masters quarterfinals to Sean Fisher, and this one exactly the same as well. It was a very disappointing bit of defeat that you're sort of just okay with, which is why I stepped away from darts as well, because I was like, I'm getting okay with losing. I wasn't okay with losing this. Like, this was disappointing, which in a way is a good thing as well. So I get that. We was out quite late. I got up the next morning. I was very, very stiff. We went to the Excalibur. I went down and got a massage, got a rub. My arm was stiff. It was tight. I couldn't really move it very well. I was having like sort of spasm in my arm. Now, with that in mind, this is not the injury. This is not a recurrence of the injury. This is just the fact I played 14 hours of darts the day before, including all the practices, the preparations. I probably didn't drink enough water. It was very, very hot out there, so it's probably dehydration, muscle fatigue, and that spasming was coming from that. So, struggled a little bit with that on the Saturday, but don't worry, this is not the injury occurrence I had before. That was all good. I had a little bit of swelling after day 2. The next day I woke up, it was fine again. So, all good in regards to that. This was just purely preparational. One of the other great things about staying at the Rio is Penn and Teller. They've been performing there for years. 50 years of magic, iconic act, guys. If you're staying out there, you've got to go watch it. It was a great experience, a great show, and something that's really nice as well. If you got your rewards card and things for staying on site, I think we paid about $140 for the experience. Unbelievable. Highly, highly recommended. Amazing experience throughout the week. I'm not going to go too much into the Lakeside qualifiers. I sucked. I was terrible. I couldn't throw the darts properly. They were kicking all over the place. I kind of want to forget that day very quickly. I probably shouldn't have played, truth be told, but I gave it a go. And that's all it was. It was I gave it a go. I probably knew I weren't getting through because I didn't have that same feel and that same vibe, and that tension was there. Just the first 5 days of darts, probably just a bit too much to try and do 6. Guys, over to the review time. And let me see if I get this camera's photo. There we go. Over to the review time. What an event. The glamour is back within the World Masters. That stage was incredible. That building of which that was hosted, unbelievable. The crowd and how that casual audience comes and watches as they're walking by, and they just stop to watch some of the darts along the way. Brilliant. The atmosphere, superb. Everything about that for me is the World Masters is back on the map once again. The only thing they need to do now is get that sponsorship up, or bump that prize. If they can get that prize money bumped up a little bit, the Masters is back, because everything else was there. It felt like the World Masters. It felt important. It had an atmosphere that felt important. It was in a city where every single show is important. I've played darts on a stage in Las Vegas. Like, what a dream scenario that actually is. And in reflection, looking back at it, unbelievable. The organisation, the WDF did an amazing job. They did an amazing job. They get a lot of flack, but they had plenty of practice facilities. They managed the boards well. They staggered start times. So the men's was here, the women's were there, the youth was there, different start times. So it was staggered. One thing I would suggest in future, they relied heavily on Dart Connect. And I would just look at this and look, right, and it may not be able to do so with a staggered time, but just call out those first games on the microphone. That's all I would suggest, because there was a lot of people, myself included, didn't realise I was marking a first game, for example, and they're hot on their times. They was timing people out. They was good on that. They weren't going, oh, I'll give you another 5 minutes. No, be there or you're out. Brilliant. That's how it should be. But just call the first ones out on the microphone. Then there's sort of no excuses or anything there. That would be my only thing in regards to that. The boards, I've got to vouch for them, guys. There was a lot of people, like myself, when I first went into the venue, who looked at the boards and went, there's no surrounds. The light looks like a travel light. Like, and that was my first pickouts. So I thought, I wonder what this is going to be like. The board didn't need a surround. That backboard was fine. Like, that was good. And that light, I expected a shadow, and there was nothing. So, guys, I can't grumble one bit about the lighting. If anything, I prefer that to the full 360 surround. I don't like a 360 surround light because it feels like you're reaching in all the time. So I actually preferred the lighting system. So can vouch for them fully in regards to that. You guys, I had so much support going into this. More support than I would say I ever got playing in the World Championships. So I thank you so much for that, and I thank you for the support throughout the week. It's been unbelievable, and I genuinely mean that. I was very much under the impression that I won't really be doing much at the back end of this, but again, the support of which I've received makes me feel that I kind of need to, because, you know, I'm here because of you, essentially. Now, if I wanted to do anything, it'd be Lakeside. I'm trying to figure out, see if I can get to any tournaments, to see if I can get any more points, to see if I can get there. At the moment, it's looking 50-50. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated in regards to that. But thanks, guys, for watching videos, for hitting like buttons, for getting any merchandise. Jodie puts that on her eBay channel, guys. Things like signed flights, things like that. I'll put the link down below if you're interested in that. For buying my match shirt. I did a special shirt for this event. There are a couple still available, guys, because a couple of people that ordered them but didn't pay for them. So we're putting them back into sale. So we've got one medium, two large, and one extra large, I believe it is. Email Jodie. I'll see if I've still got her email up here. I do. Email Jodie right here if you want to get hold of one of those shirts. If they don't go, they're going to go on the eBay store as well. So if they haven't gone in the next couple of days, they'll be available on eBay as well, guys. But that link will be down in the description below. But as far as this journey goes, that's it done. And I'm going to put my World Open trophy in that cabinet right there. So when people come in for coaching sessions, they'll be able to see that when I tell them these are the practices and routines that you need to do, and you need to be getting yourself in the gym, guys, players who are watching this, it's not just about throwing up the balls, it's about what you do. And in 7 weeks, we've gone from a cold start to the World Open final. Look what committing can be doing, and when you get those routines right. I'll catch you soon, guys, for some more Edgar TV.